Namaste, everyone, and a very warm welcome to your Daily India Brief from Monday, August 25th. We're going to connect all the dots on today's biggest stories, from our soaring ambitions in space all the way down to the action on the cricket pitch.
Our goal here is really simple. We give you calm, clear, and factual news, brought to you by OneRead.news. We just want to cut through all that noise so you can form your own understanding. So go on, grab your chai, settle in, and let's get right into it.
So we're kicking things off today with the theme that is, well, literally out of this world, ambition. Let's take a look at India's report card on some absolutely huge scientific and tech goals, where the sky is, well, it's not even the limit anymore. We're starting with our incredible journey into space, which is really a powerful statement about where we're headed as a nation.
Okay, now this isn't just a list of dates you're seeing. Think of it as a meticulously planned roadmap to India's future among the stars. By 2028, ISRO is planning to launch the very first piece of our own space station, the Bhartiya Antariksha Station. This is like laying the foundation stone for India's permanent house in the sky. It's the core, right? The piece that everything else grows from. Then, by 2035, the goal is for the entire station to be up and running. This is a monumental step. It puts India in an extremely exclusive club of nations with a permanent address in orbit, right up there with the US, Russia, and China. And the grand finale on this timeline? By 2040, the mission is to land an Indian astronaut on the moon. And this is about so much more than just planting a flag. It's about deep space exploration, new science, and really cementing our status as a major spacefaring power for generations to come.
So, how do we get to that house in the sky? Well, one crucial step at a time. And ISRO just absolutely aced the first integrated airdrop test for the Gaganyaan mission. So what does that actually mean? Well, essentially, they took a test version of the crew capsule, hauled it 4 kilometers up with a Chinook helicopter, and they just dropped it. It's been called a trust fall with the nation watching, and honestly, that's the perfect way to put it. This whole test was to make sure the super complex parachute system works. You've got smaller chutes that pop out to stabilize it, then these massive main chutes that slow it down for a gentle splashdown. It has to work perfectly, every single time, to bring our astronauts home safely. This successful test isn't just a technical win, it's a massive confidence booster for the entire program that will one day carry our Vyomanauts to our own space station.
So while ISRO is busy mastering safe landings from the heavens, our defense scientists over at DRDO are making sure we're safe right here on the ground. They've successfully pulled off the very first flight test of the Integrated Air Defense Weapon System. And listen, this isn't just another missile system. It's a multi-layered shield designed to protect our most important areas. And get this, it includes not just advanced missiles, but a high-energy laser weapon. In its very first test, it successfully detected, tracked, and destroyed 3 different aerial targets all at the same time. We are building our very own high-tech Iron Dome, a shield using not just interceptors, but next-gen lasers to protect us from all kinds of modern threats like drones and cruise missiles. That laser part, that's a true game changer.
Okay, class, while our scientists are acing their tests way up in the atmosphere, let's turn our attention to who's acing their tests down on the field. We're moving from the high-stakes world of science and defense to the equally high-stakes world of professional sports, where grit, determination, and just incredible skill are always on display.
And we have to start this section with a farewell to a true master of the game. Cheteshwar Pujara, the Test cricket specialist, has announced his retirement from all forms of cricket. He's 37. Now, for anyone who follows the beautiful grind of Test cricket, you know what a monumental figure he was. Scoring over 7,000 runs in 103 tests is one thing, but it was his style that defined him. They called him India's Wall 2.0, the heir to the legendary Rahul Dravid. His career was just a masterclass in grit, resilience, and pure, unshakable patience. He didn't just score runs, he would literally exhaust the opposition's best bowlers, staying at the crease for hours, absorbing pressure, and just grinding them down. He was a pillar, and his retirement really does feel like the end of an era for Test cricket purists.
But as one legend hangs up his boots, a new generation is already rising up. In shooting, Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tamar just nailed a gold medal in the 50-meter rifle 3 positions event out in Kazakhstan. That is a huge win. Then in archery, Chiquita Taniparthi made history. She's the very first Indian female compound archer to win an individual junior world title. And here's the kicker. She beat a Korean archer in the final. Now in the world of archery, that is a massive statement. Beating Korea in archery is kind of like beating Brazil in football. It signals something big is happening. And finally, on the football pitch, our U17 women's team, the Young Tigresses, are on an absolute tear. They just crushed Bhutan 8-0, with Anushka Kumari scoring a brilliant hat-trick.
They've now scored 17 goals in just 3 games. It's a goal-scoring clinic that shows the future of Indian football is looking very, very bright. All right, from the roar of the stadium, let's shift our focus to the engine room of the country, the rules of governance. Yeah, this is the nitty-gritty stuff. State budgets, national tax policy, security, international diplomacy. This is where the policies get hammered out that affect our daily lives and our nation's place in the world.
Down in Kerala, we're seeing a real tale of 2 competing government priorities play out. On one hand, the state government just approved another pay hike, the dearness allowance, for its employees and pensioners. It's basically a cost of living adjustment, and it's going to cost the state an extra 2,000 crore rupees a year. But on the other hand, a huge corruption crackdown is going on. The Anti-Corruption Bureau has launched criminal inquiries against 40 officials in the motor vehicle department for allegedly taking bribes. It's the classic government balancing act, right? You're trying to keep your workforce happy while at the same time rooting out the kind of corruption that can seriously endanger public safety on our roads.
All right, let's unpack this next one. It sounds a bit technical, but trust me, it has big implications. We're talking about something called Input Tax Credit, or ITC, under GST. So, in simple terms, ITC lets a business subtract the taxes it paid on its purchases, like raw materials, from the taxes it owes on its sales. Now, the big news is the GST Council is thinking about letting companies claim this credit on the GST they pay for employee health and life insurance. Right now, they can't do that. If this goes through, it could really lower costs for companies providing these essential benefits, making it more affordable to do the right thing for their workers. It's a potential win-win for both businesses and their staff.
Now on the global stage, Fiji's Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka is here in India for a 3-day visit. Okay, so the official agenda is all about important stuff like climate change, renewable energy, and health. But this visit is also a strategic diplomatic chess move. See, Fiji is a really influential player in the Pacific Islands, so strengthening our ties with them is a key part of India's broader Indo-Pacific strategy. It's about building alliances, ensuring a stable and secure region, and frankly, countering the growing influence of other global powers. So yeah, this visit is a much bigger deal than it might seem at first glance.
Now for a security challenge that plays out almost every day along our maritime borders. The Border Security Force, or BSF, has picked up 15 Pakistani fishermen and their boat in the Kori Creek area of Kutch, Gujarat for illegally entering Indian waters. Now this might sound routine, but it highlights this really tricky, persistent problem. In those murky border waters, telling the difference between a fisherman who just accidentally drifted across an invisible line and someone who might be a genuine security threat, well, that is an incredibly tough judgment call for our forces. It's a constant cat-and-mouse game where the stakes are always incredibly high.
And finally in this section, a quick look at security right here at home. With the festival of Vinayaka Chaturthi, you might know it as Ganesh Chaturthi, just around the corner, police in several districts of Andhra Pradesh have seriously tightened security. You know, festivals are a time for joy, but big crowds always bring a bit of risk. What's interesting here is that the authorities aren't just putting more boots on the ground, they're also using technology, like CCTV surveillance and other monitoring tools, to make sure the celebrations stay peaceful and safe for everyone.
All right, let's zoom out from national affairs for a minute and look at our wider world, and most importantly, the people in it. This final section is all about the human factor. We've got stories of conflict and resilience, of quirky joy, and pure, unadulterated inspiration that just remind us of what it means to be human.
We have to start with some very solemn and deeply concerning news. On its 34th Independence Day, Ukraine reportedly launched a drone attack that started a fire at Russia's Kursk nuclear power plant. Now, this is a hugely symbolic act, for sure, but it is also incredibly dangerous. Targeting any part of a nuclear power site, even something like a transformer, is a terrifying escalation in this conflict. It deliberately tests those international red lines about what is and is not okay in war. This single act pushes the conflict into a frightening new phase, where the potential for a catastrophic accident, intended or not, just went up dramatically.
Meanwhile, a different kind of crisis is unfolding much closer to home. Typhoon Kajiki has just slammed into southern China's Hainan Island, bringing powerful winds and torrential rain. Over 20,000 people had to be evacuated. The storm is now moving out over the sea, heading straight for the central coast of Vietnam. This is just a stark, real-time reminder of how vulnerable our coastal regions are to these powerful storms, which are only getting stronger and more frequent. It is a real-world test of the disaster preparedness of multiple nations, all at the same time.
And now for a complete change of pace. From the serious to the wonderfully surreal, this might just be the most wholesome competition on the entire planet. A father and son duo from Finland have just won the 2025 Tree Hugging World Championship. Yes, you heard that right.
The event, held in Finland, judges competitors on their speed, the dedication of their hug, and their overall creativity in embracing a tree. It's quirky, it's joyful, and it's a beautiful little reminder to connect with nature and to find happiness in the simplest, most unexpected places. It's pretty hard not to smile at this one.
And we end our stories today with a truly inspiring one from right here at home. Meet Indira M., a 70-year-old woman from Kerala. After raising her children and finding herself with an empty nest, she decided it was finally her time for an adventure. And get this, she has now traveled solo to 35 different countries. Her story is just such powerful proof that the travel bug, that desire to explore and see the world, truly has no age limit. She's now encouraging other mothers to go out and pursue their own dreams later in life. What a beautiful message. Trade the empty nest for a passport and never, ever stop exploring.
And that's our look at the headlines for today. We really hope that by laying out the facts without all the spin, we've helped you form your own clear understanding of what's happening. That's our whole mission here, just to give you the news without all the noise. So, as we close, here's the thought to take with you for the rest of the day. We've looked at India's scorecard, from reaching for the moon to managing complex issues on the ground, from celebrating our champions to finding inspiration in everyday people. After seeing it all laid out like that, where do you think the biggest challenges and opportunities for us lie right now? It's definitely something to think about.
We can only deliver this kind of straightforward news because of support from listeners just like you. If you value having an ad-free, independent, and calm news source, please consider subscribing at www.oneread.news. And if you think a friend or family member would appreciate this approach, we'd be so grateful if you'd share this explainer with them.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. We truly hope we've made a positive difference in how you start your day. And remember, you can follow us on Spotify and YouTube to listen to this podcast every morning at 8 a.m. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, namaskar.